Hey, friends and strangers. This is Chris over here at Modern Fantastic. This is a video blog series I'm doing to kind of test my chops and all this and learn how to talk to a camera by myself, which is not new, but it is different. Also, for example, I have learned that I don't need a headset on to talk to a camera. So you see my ears. Maybe someday soon I'll shave my beard and take my hat off. Who knows? Little by little, you might see more and more of my head. Anyway, um, I am today. I'm talking about a very interesting topic for me. It's something that I went to grad school for, discussing digital humanities stuff and the rise of digital humanities and the importance of making digital spaces healthy for not just cis hetero white men like me. And to clarify, I am cis hetero white male. I have grown up middle class. I have lots of privilege and been afforded lots of privileges growing up, and I know that's where I'm coming from, so I'm aware of that. But there's been a conversation going on. Well, it's been going on for like 10 years, basically, that about inclusivity and the importance of how we navigate empowering and uplifting historically marginalized voices. And those voices shift and change depending on the medium, depending on the platform, depending on the community. And sometimes even the app itself is built to forget or remove those voices. And so anyway, there's a conversation going on how we move forward with all this. The one side is, of course, the idea that we need as many allies as possible. So I had a very interesting and polarizing experience in college, which was very confusing to me, if I'll be honest with you. One professor says, we need as many allies as possible. You know, straight white men, the more the merrier, educate yourselves, jump in, learn what you can. We are all one community if we're going to get our voices heard and elevate everybody. The other argument is, the other side, which is another professor's perspective, said, this isn't your conversation. I owe you nothing. Stand aside, shut up, you had your chance, you failed, get out of the room. Which I think is kind of a zero-sum perspective, but I get that side too. I'm gonna go for my we need as many allies as possible, because that actually gives me a place to navigate this instead of shutting down and walking away. And there have been several times in my life where I have had conversations with people that are saying, this isn't your conversation, get out. And I walked away because, okay, if that's how you want me to support you, I'll walk away. And I've lost friendships to that, weirdly enough. Anyway, for me, it's a complex thing to navigate, but I get it. So we are talking about two different shows today. Me. I'm talking about two different shows today. One is Shadow and Bone, a series of fantasy novels that are adapted to Netflix, with some very, very, very sexy bad boys in it, and sexy everybody. The whole show was just sexy. Honestly, I'm all in for that. I could watch The Crows all freaking day. Spoiler. I started watching this and I go, that main character, like that character looks so dark. I hope he's a good guy. I hope he becomes an anti-hero at least. And that's exactly what he was. And it made me so happy. Anyway, that aside, I was initially very frustrated by the show, and upset by the show as a we need as many allies as possible person, because it used some very racist terms in the first couple episodes. One was rice eater. Again, trigger warning for anybody who is not has to deal with this kind of stuff on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to repeat what they said on the show. But one term is rice eater. Another term is half-breed. And then there's a phrase used, make her eyes less shoe, which shoe is half of the main character's heritage. And I was upset. Like, in what world is this show allowed to say those kind of things to the main character? Like, yeah, we get it. She's not presenting the way everyone else looks in the show. We get it. And Twitter kind of agreed with me, more or less. A lot of people said I am not watching any more of the show because it is racist. And me taking my knee-jerk reaction aside, I went and actually did some research on it and looked up, and I found an article where it talks about how the comments came from marginalized voices within the writer's room that were recounting their experiences in real life, and they wanted to see it represented on the screen. Is that racist? It's a question I've asked myself several times now, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that we need uncomfortable conversations. Still, we are not past racism, and the show is actually getting those kind of racist commentary to people like me, cishet white boy, that need to have that in their lives, or maybe someone who's suggestible and young that might give them a different voice to what they're used to seeing in home or in their social circles. Yes, it's talking. I'm centering myself in this conversation. Yes, I'm saying that I need to see those kinds of things because I know other people like me are seeing those kinds of things. And as a person of we need as many allies as possible, that helps, in my opinion. I am not saying it is not. It shouldn't be traumatizing, or you shouldn't be feeling negative reaction to it, or it's something that you want to see. Like, I get 100% that seeing these phrases and terms used in the show are phrases and terms you've seen as microaggressions or active aggressions in your life day to day, and you've dealt with some serious bad shit. I get it. I'm not saying that, but the question really is, for me, how much of this do we remove? Should it always be gumdrops and rainbows when it comes to that kind of conversation? I think that Shadow and Bone could have done more with the spreading out the racist talk, because her best friend is also her same heritage or similar heritage, and nobody talked down to him. Strangers, friends, nobody. No microaggressions to him whatsoever. He was a soldier. He was a man. He was, that kind of stuff. He was treated as a person. He wasn't overlooked for promotion because of his heritage. Nothing. I could have seen more of that, honestly. Like, it felt kind of like they were whipping on the main character a little bit as a way of amping up the conflict. But anyway, the commentary came from marginalized voices in the writing room. In my opinion, if that's true, that's what needs to be happening, in my opinion. Like, that's what needs to be happening in my thoughts. And then the second show that we watched, my partner and I watched, was the Falcon and Winter Soldier. A lot of my friends that watch it, big Marvel buffs, said they were not as much of a fan of this show as they were with WandaVision. And I have to wholeheartedly disagree. The Falcon and Winter Soldier is a absolute gem of a conversation. It is hard conversations that are dealing with the relationship of skin color and success in America. And I think I need to see it. Like, as a white boy, cishet white boy, I need to see this kind of stuff. I need to be present for conversations that I might not have had in the past concerning the color of the skin, the color of a person's skin, in respect to whether they're a hero or not. Isaiah Bradley's character is pivotal in that. Like, he's a super soldier as well, but Steve had this fanfare, pomp and circumstance every time he breathed. But Isaiah Bradley was thrown, went through Vietnam, thrown in a bunker and made to disappear. They did tests on him and stuff. Like, it's horrible. But I could easily go, yeah, well, if we had superheroes here in the United States and they were experimenting with super soldier serum, that is exactly what I would see happening. And the conversation between Sam and Bucky as men dealing with trauma and somewhat imposter syndrome and dealing with all the stuff they've done in their lives and having healthy conversations with each other. As a white man, I need to see that. I don't see very much of that. That's part of why I love the Fast and Furious show so much. They are touching each other. They are talking to each other. They are conflicting, but they're also trying to work shit out. You know, like I need that. And I love the idea that Sam felt he didn't deserve the shield, so he gave it up, and then he realized he needs it, and the United States needs it, and America needs it, and the fact that Isaiah Bradley says they're never going to give that mantle of Captain America to a black man, and then and it happens and he does it. That's huge. We need to see that. We need to see the uplifting of black voices, the uplifting of black people, and so all this is wonderful. And that's really it. That's what I want to talk about today. It's just that those two things are so diverse and healthy to talk about, and watch. I mean that it's absolutely worth watching. With that trigger warning, that caveat of how some of these terms are thrown around in Shadow and Bone that were highlighting the racism. But we also, again, for me as a whole, we also kind of need that. Again, I'm coming from a place of privilege. I get it. But, you know, we need that. Anyway, please let me know what you think about all this. Whether I've got something way wrong, whether I got something that I'm missing. There's some important information here that I don't get. Like, do you think those conversations are worth having? I mean, it seems like a rhetorical yes, but I don't know. Like, when I was in college, yeah, absolutely. The people I talked to in college, absolutely, yeah. I've been out of that game for a minute, so I don't know. Anyway, leave a message. Let me know. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week, and enjoy this warmer weather. All right, take care, guys. Bye. Like what you see? Please like, follow, comment, do your thing. And as always, keep writing, my friends.